That thing's fried.
Let's garden. Alright, so first we're gonna come over. We just got back from a weekend trip. We went up to Michigan to watch a couple of our friends get married. Congrats Justin and Megan. The garden's looking awful. It's also the hottest weekend of the summer so far, and the garden hasn't been watered for a couple days. So we're gonna go through. I'm just gonna give a tour right now because it is probably the worst time of day to water because, as you can tell, it is full sun. I am still working on getting some mulch or hay to put over my soil so that it doesn't fully dry out through the hottest parts of the day. But I've been really religious about getting up and watering my plants in the morning, so they feel like they've been doing just fine. We got a couple of things that went bad over the weekend. I have some raspberries, a tomato, and then some coffee grounds because we love our coffee. And I'm just gonna put it in my little sectioned composter. We also bought some overpriced fruit from the gas stations on our way. So I've got some grapes that are no longer good and some pineapple that Michael was enjoying. So put that in there. Look at all that goodness. Here's my side that's been cooking for a while. It's looking a little dry, but this is going to be my compost that I'm going to use in the fall whenever I plant my garlic for the winter. So just move these guys off of here. I'll come back for them later and give it a good little couple little turns. Let her bake.
All right, so my first question, I'm gonna call you out here. We know that we was gone all weekend.
No.
This poor little guy got fried.
Absolutely.
I guess we can start here because I don't know how much longer he's gonna be alive. Maybe you can fill me in on the info.
So I'm gonna try and revive this feller because this is just a zinnia. This is just a flower. But these guys, they don't look terrible. They're looking pretty pathetic, but these are my spoon tomatoes. And that is a tomato that is about the size of a blueberry. It grows into a huge bush, they're really good. I don't like tomatoes personally. Michael really likes them, so I grow them all the time. But I'm gonna try and get these guys revived. So actually, I might start off with watering these 4 plants and moving them into the shade so they can go ahead and try and get revived. This one I have hope for because it's soft. But this one's pretty crispy, so these leaves will probably fall off. It's my fault for not planting them in the ground or in a pot already, but it's okay.
So what are you looking for? So when you say you think a plant can be revived, what are you looking for? So if a plant's like, let's just say it's too far gone and you know you can't save it, what can you tell the people at home?
It may never be too late. Always try. Oh, this one, like I said, it's pretty crispy. Actually, it's still a little bit soft, but it's not fully brown. There's still a lot of green here. So, and it's pretty early in the season, so we may have some hope. But these leaves will probably die and fall off. See how you can feel? You can hear them. A little ASMR in here. that one, and it doesn't have a strong, a lot of soil in the root system. So it does need to be watered more because there's, it needs to be planted really. So, these guys though, they're so soft, no crispy crunchies, but they're definitely not happy at the moment. So let's start with water. Now I put them in the shade so they won't crisp up or dry out, but I felt like they desperately needed some water in the meantime. Give them a good little all-around soak a couple times. Oh, sweet. Go let it soak in a little bottom watering action. All right, now to the rest. Wow, these peppers are So I've got my ghost peppers here. This is a variety of sweet pepper. This is another variety of sweet pepper, as you can see. Got one coming along pretty nicely. Hope this drought didn't ruin any of that. Got some more flowers up under here. We're gonna get some new fruits. Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Those are ghost peppers.
These guys right here are my ghost peppers.
And what are these?
Sweet peppers.
Sweet peppers.
Couple different varieties.
Awesome.
Got a few different varieties of tomatoes, and these guys actually look pretty good. I've got them in my handy dandy 5-gallon buckets. Good little setup. I'm trying a new way of trellising them this year, so I've tied this gardening string to our rose bush trellis, and then as the tomato bush plant grows, I wrap it around here so that it continues to maintain its support. Looks like this guy came a little bit undone, so I'm going to wrap him around.
Ah, smells so good over here.
Yes, we love the smell of tomato fingers. And whenever you're wrapping it around, you want to make sure that you start on the main stalk, and then you go in between the leaves and wrap it around the main stalk so that it gives it the most support. You have to come out here and prune a little bit, get the suckers off. So this one's got some flowers that are starting to form, so I don't want to disrupt them too much. Try and wrap around those. Perfect.
Cool.
Get a good little
All right, so we've talked about your tomatoes. What else you have?
I'm going to talk about my other plants that I have growing within my tomato family here. So I've got some dill, as you can see. I've got some nasturtium growing. These are going to come up with flowers as well. And throughout my tomato plants, I've companion planted some different flowers. And what that does, I've got some marigolds over here. Tomatoes and marigolds like to grow together very well. What that's going to do is it's going to help strengthen the soil. It's going to bring in pollinators. So some of my flowers that come up, the bees like. I'm hoping I can get some butterflies out here too. But I'm still learning more about what kind of flowers those prefer. But it just helps
them grow.
Helps them grow. I do have some citronella down here. This is for my own sake because it does smell pretty good. It's supposed to keep the mosquitoes away.
Citronella, like the candle?
Yep, citronella, yep.
Oh, let me get a sniff test. It actually smells pretty good.
It does smell good. I've got some purple basil down here. Again, it's looking pretty pathetic because we've been away. So I'm going to water these tonight. I love these flowers. None of them are in the middle of bloom right now, but and they're kind of looking sad. Got some chamomile in the back, and then my Gerber daisies, because those are some of my favorites.
Awesome.
Just a quick touch over here. I've got a little fig tree growing. I bought it at a local plant shop. You can see my little fig under there. Peekaboo. A baby rose bush that I've been trying to bring back from last season. This is my sunflower. It was a volunteer this year. She's beautiful. Doesn't even have a bloom yet.
And she's from last year? She's a volunteer?
Yeah, she's a volunteer from last year. I had planted the giant variety in a pot, not knowing it was a giant variety. And they did pretty well. And then when it died, this one came up this year, surprisingly, so I put it in its own bucket. I've got some little marigolds growing down here with it.
These are your companions.
Yes. And I've got some beautiful petunias growing. I've got red, a very vibrant pink. And then check out these constellation looking.
Sniff test. Nice.
On to my new experiments. I've got some carrots growing in here. Now I know I'm gonna have to go and sort through those. They can't grow that close together, but I wanted to give myself the best opportunity to have some come up, and I was very successful, it looks like.
Yeah, they're
Cute
growing
little
in.
babies. And over here, we have a puppy, and her name is Bean, so I had to plant some beans. I've got a bush variety and a pole variety. So it's going to grow up. I'm going to have to move this pot next to a trellis. And I've got a few little carrots in between there too. Just wanted to see, I'm experimenting a little bit. They may be a little bit close together growing in the pots, but...
And these
we'll
are new
find
to the
out.
garden this
Yes,
year,
these
right?
are new to the
These are
garden.
new.
And I've got
I'm
my
excited for
lavender.
these.
I love lavender. It's one of my favorite smells, favorite flavors.
Well, you know what it is.
And then a popcorn bush. So peaceful. And then I've got my popcorn plant. Popcorny.
It does smell like popcorn.
And then just a few more flowers. This is a variety of cone flower. The butterflies are supposed to love that. And it will come back every year. I'm going to see if it will work in a pot as well. Usually they come back in the ground, but...
Now, is that a companion for this? Or is it kind of separate?
It's more separate. I just had more room in the pot, and I was trying to get some more flowers in the garden instead of just vegetables. So that way we can attract, the pollinators. Also, flowers and certain plants are good pest control. The pests will go to those plants instead of marigolds. The pests will go to the marigolds because they're bright. They smell good or bad depending on who you are, but it keeps them away from the tomatoes. It kind of protects as a more natural pest control.
Awesome.
And then last but not least, we did have a rose bush here when we moved in. It's very beautiful. It's growing, as you can see. We're going to have a bloom up here. We'll show you guys that here in a few weeks whenever it does bloom. I did plant some extra flowers down here too, just to give myself the best chance for success. So that's the garden. We'll see how it goes in the next couple weeks. Thank you all for coming along.